Why do people hate Wing Chun so much? And I think it's the reason for this video is I think it's because they think it doesn't work, for one. I mean, the whole premise of your being is that you're training and you're learning and you're moving forward to become something. And when I was studying Wing Chun, I was studying 3 or 4 other styles. I was studying some Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and I was learning all the steps of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu stuff, and I was actually rolling on mats to learn what worked and what didn't, arm bars, and I didn't even get to the knee bars or you know, I learned the triangle choke, you know, the real basic positions, you know, north and south, side mount, front mount, of course the guard, because that was a big deal for a long time. If you got in somebody's guard, you couldn't get out. So, you know, to contrast the styles, I didn't feel like Wing Chun was a style that was practical. I felt like it was a style that I would go in and I would pick and choose the skills that I could use. And one thing that I really liked were the flowing punches, which if you check some of my other videos, I really explain how those techniques work. I've got an advanced Wing Chun video. I've also studied some boxing, some MMA. But back when I was studying Wing Chun, you know, there was lots of lop sao, chai sao, push hands, and then I was studying some Tai Chi at the same time. And I think those two styles work well together because Tai Chi has some really amazing components of the way the body works. But back to, I think people who study Wing Chun are cocky, and well, any martial art, it depends on the person. They can become very cocky. But the thing about Wing Chun that I found is that if you're cocky with it, and you go in there and you just you know, from a linear perspective, Wing Chun's the most linear martial art I've ever studied. You go straight in with your attacks because the punches are all spiraling, you know, out of control, and they're all straight in, and that's very powerful. You're hitting with the tops of the knuckles, or you're cascading and breaking with the bottom of the knuckles. And I think that's definitely for everyone to learn. I think every martial art has something to offer people. I think where people get frustrated with Wing Chun is they've seen so many videos and so many examples where the Wing Chun person gets taken to the ground and they're just lost. And you know, when the Gracies came out, they had a statistic that said 98% or something of all fights go to the ground. But the Gracies were also marketers, and they wanted to market their martial art over here in the U.S. They've already had great development in Brazil, where they had combined with the Japanese jiu-jitsu, and they said, hey, we took what worked, and we worked all the ground stuff, and then they had all these public fights where they proved that it worked, and then of course they came over here. So Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a martial art that has proved itself and proved that, hey, this works. Plenty of fights have gone to the ground, and people prove that they work. Luckily, thank God for Jeet Kune Do, you know, because Jeet Kune Do came in and it combined all these arts, and it said, okay, you're going to take from these arts what works. People unconsciously do that anyway, because, you know, a short person's not going to be an armbar expert or be able to do triangle chokes effectively. A lot of people don't think about that when you get on the ground. Not one style fits all, and Jeet Kune Do sought to go in and teach you techniques, and then you pick and choose what works. If you don't realize it when you put on the mask and the feel of a martial art, you're going to have to pick and choose what works based on what feels good for you. You know, if linear punches work for you, and open hand strikes and eye pokes and all these things, then you're going to use that. But, you know, even situations are different. You get into a fight with a friend, or you're going to put your finger right through their eye and be friends the rest of your life, you know. Wing Chun really loves the open hand eye pokes, and they're very fast, you know. But then you get into like snake style kung fu and all the crazy kung fu. So, you know, that's my take on it. I just have heard a lot of animosity that Wing Chun just does not work. And definitely from an MMA perspective, where you're combining sport and combat all in one, not self-defense, because self-defense is this person is trying to kill me. And I think from that aspect, Wing Chun could be a very successful style. But just from what I've seen on the net, I just wanted to do my take. And being, kind of a part-time Wing Chun practitioner, I took from the art what I liked, and I came from kicking styles like Taekwondo, so I really couldn't take a lot of kicks from Wing Chun. But if you block me off and you get me in a linear position, I'm going to use Wing Chun punching and elbows. They're very brutal on the inside. If I'm on the ground and I'm in the top position, I'm going to use Wing Chun punching and elbows and drop elbows and all that stuff, because I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to get you off of me and get out. I'm not a sport fighter. I've done my time in the dojo where I went and trained and did sport fighting and learned grappling. And so anyway, that's my take on Wing Chun. Check out my other Wing Chun videos. Tell me what your favorite style of martial art is. Leave me a comment. If there's a martial art that I've studied that I can talk about and teach about on here, I'm definitely willing to do it. And I've probably studied 10 or 15 martial arts very thoroughly and very hard, and taken away what was useful for me. So, that's why I think people dislike Wing Chun practitioners. For one, they haven't seen a lot, and they, maybe they don't realize that Jeet Kune Do was kind of founded on Wing Chun, and Wing Chun takes a long time to learn, but there's a lot to learn there. And I'm not saying it's a bad style or anything. I just don't think the data is out there. And as soon as the data can get out there and people start seeing, hey, these techniques really work, if they could find out what part of Jeet Kune Do was filtered from Wing Chun and just look at that information, I think they'd be pleasantly surprised. But as for now, there's a lot of cocky, practitioners out there just thinking it's the be-all and be-all in styles, and I don't know if that style is out there. I think the style should be what works for you. If you've got a bad left shoulder, like some people do, an elbow from the left side of your body is not going to work out. There's going to be no power behind it. You're probably just going to end up damaging it more. So things to consider when you're picking your style of martial art out there. People don't like Wing Chun. Hope you're doing well. Check out my other videos. Comment of what you'd like to see so I can keep going. And God bless.